So if you can have a guy that's in the audience that's yelling, I shot him, now shoot me, I shot him, now shoot me, and then that guy gets arrested for child charges, like what's going on here?
That there was something else going on. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well.
I don't believe this kid right now can possibly be
I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird going on with this.
I know.
None of these things make any sense to me. Like, you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane. So he's on the roof. He jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Charlie Kirk's death seems anything but random. Many suspect it was a deliberate act, orchestrated with precision. Joe Rogan claimed what first looked like a tragic loss has now spiraled into one of the most suspicious and confusing cases of the year. His comments only intensified speculation, especially regarding Charlie's widow's behavior and the bizarre chain of events that unfolded after his death.
Thing is a coincidence. Hold on to that thought. Did you know that Charlie Kirk's father, Robert W. Kirk, was actually the architect for Trump Towers? Also, did you know that Erica Lane Kirk won Miss Arizona USA in 2012? Don't forget, Donald Trump ran Miss America from 1996 until 2015. Seeing the correlation here? Now, not saying age difference is a big thing, but did you know Erica was 5 years Charlie Sr.? But this is where coincidences aren't coincidences. People, this was so arranged. And there's so much more to Erica Kirk. Kind of like how she was all into basketball, didn't want to be all girly, never liked to dress up, even cut all her hair off, and ended up being Miss USA. How does that happen? How do you go from sports to Miss USA? And then they meet at a Turning Point event in 2018, where she's interviewing for a job for Turning Point.
The conversation began when Rogan addressed the incident during his podcast, saying the official narrative simply didn't add up. He highlighted overlooked details ignored by major outlets, including an image of the supposed suspect, a 22-year-old holding what appeared to be a scoped rifle. Rogan remarked that the firearm looked too polished and modern for the crime scene described.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, the guy that they have, the 22-year-old, whatever. And I was almost going to be like, dude, you think he's got the capability to do that?
Yeah, well, listen, there are people that look like that have the capability to do that.
Pretty accurate.
Nope.
No?
Not hard. Not hard at all. Let me dispel that.
Okay.
Okay. 200 yards from a prone position with a dead-on rifle. So if you have a dead-on rifle, so you set this rifle, you set your 0 to 200 yards, or you know how far you're going to shoot. It is not hard at all.
He shot a lot.
You don't have to shoot a lot. I could do it tomorrow.
If you're but you are experienced. If it's someone that's never shot, could they do it?
100%. Not if they've never shot. They wouldn't know where to look. They'd have a hard time acquiring like when you look through a scope, like with the reticle is weird. Like it sometimes
takes a minute.
You got to know the distance that you have to be from it to really line it up in your sights. But you could get a guy like my friend Andy Stump, who's a sniper in the SEALs. You could get him, and he could show you how to do it in an afternoon, and then you could hit steel at 200 yards every time you pull the trigger.
One day you could learn.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, not that hard.
Because it feels insane. I'm like, that seems tough.
It seems tough. We still haven't figured out whether or not the gun that Trump had a sight on it, because we weren't sure if it had a sight on it or if this guy was using iron sights. That was 140 yards. If you shot with iron sights, that's a lot harder. Because iron sights is you're lining up. So you have these two things in the back and there's one thing at the front of the barrel. And you got to line those up perfectly, and that's how you stay accurate. That is a lot harder to do.
It's like old have those, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pistols.
Yeah,
like you buy a Glock. Yeah. That's what it is.
Right.
But this kid had a rifle with a scope. Now here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. So a 30-06, so that's the rifle. 30-06 is like, that looks like a very modern looking stock. I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad resolution. It might be wood. it's hard to tell. But if you showed me that and you said, hey, this is my cousin's rifle, is this any good? I'd be like, looks like a standard bolt action rifle with like a sophisticated modern scope on it. Sure. Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait.
Then came another man, older, visibly upset, who began yelling immediately after the chaos, allegedly shouting, "I did it," before bizarrely stripping off his pants and creating more disorder at the location.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? Took his pants down? This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombing. He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
Right.
Right, and because when the internet people start going, how are you at all these different things? Like, what are the odds? Like, if someone ran it through one of the ChatGPT and Perplexity things, like, what are the odds that this guy would be at all those different events and be involved? Like, zero.
This is the guy?
Yeah.
I just like that the pants down part is just insane. It's like, why is your...
I did it. I'm not saying this guy isn't insane. He's clearly insane. Or not. Or he's professional insane.
To Rogan, these moments weren't random oddities. They formed a sequence that felt too perfectly arranged, almost staged to conceal the true individuals responsible and misdirect anyone searching for answers behind the attack.
That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the f*** up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit. Not going to fit. And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof. What? What's that about?
Is that what they pitched, huh?
Yeah. And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid backpack. It's literally, it makes no sense.
And the elevator music was a nice touch, by the way.
Yeah. So this is just a narrative, right? We watch a guy jump off the roof, and then we supposedly find this rifle. So if you can have a guy that's in the audience that's yelling, I shot him, now shoot me, I shot him, now shoot me, and then that guy gets arrested for child charges, like what is going on here? And then you find this rifle, and then you say, oh, he assembled it and he reassembled it, like, okay. A lot. If I wish I was a cop, I'd sit there and remember, like, this story is horrible.
A short segment from Rogan's comments exploded online within minutes. Elon Musk, tagged in the viral clip, added one of his trademark cryptic remarks, "The truth doesn't hide forever." That single phrase sent social media into overdrive. Within hours, fans analyzed Rogan's words frame by frame, trying to connect Musk's response to what Rogan might actually know.
The more they keep looking into it, the more they're like, this doesn't feel like a real... It feels super fabricated.
But here's the thing. Just like I was talking about when people are arguing on social media, it's all part of the plan. If you want things to be...
Oh, I wanted it so bad.
If you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything, you had a bunch of... You're going to kill God. You had a bunch of other wacky that doesn't make any sense, and you spam it out there at the same time. You leave a guy that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of like that.
You have an old man put his out and yell, I did it.
Yeah, you get some kid who has a boyfriend who's a furry, and you talk to him on Discord.
As the video spread, theories multiplied across the internet. Viewers questioned why two major figures, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, suddenly spoke about a case most thought long resolved. Was this chance, or a coded signal? Things escalated further when Musk liked posts by Candace Owens, who earlier accused the media of suppressing facts about Charlie's death. Overnight, hashtags about his widow trended, fueling frenzy online. Many now believed Rogan and Musk knew hidden truths. Even mainstream outlets joined in, subtly denying yet amplifying the intrigue. When Rogan's full episode aired, curiosity shifted toward suspicion. Rogan said it plainly, too many things didn't fit. He listed the odd weapon, timeline, suspect behavior, and lack of clarity from investigators, even joking that if this were a movie, no one would buy the plot.
Sickening is definitely the right adjective, I think, to describe how a lot of us are feeling. And all I know how to do is to gather information, to research, and to investigate. And nothing is making sense. Now, it could not be making sense because we've not arrived at the conclusion. The FBI, I will say, has recently come out and said they're looking for another person. Good, because what we have so far obviously cannot be it. I feel, I was insisting that everybody read that book, Chaos, about the Charles Manson murders. And what we learn from that book is that if the government does want to hide something, what they do is they give you so much information that you you don't even know what's real. So many different possible ways that things could have gone down, so many different manners, so many people speaking, so many publications publishing. And it's just meant to be chaotic, to drive you crazy and to just go, okay, I'm just going to accept whenever the authority says something and not prod any further. We can't allow that to happen here. I won't allow that to happen here because this something terrible has traumatized the world, okay? And I feel as though when it comes to this, the media, the government, the talking heads, everyone is confusing us about what actually took place with Charlie Kirk, this event, how it got set up. I even would like to know who picked the venue, okay?
Soon after, Owens went live again, insisting that Charlie had started probing subjects that unsettled US authorities and their partners. She hinted his outspoken curiosity and willingness to question powerful groups made him appear dangerous to certain people in high positions.
Examine Charlie in his own words. You're starting to talk about topics that you're not really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written. That pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who's obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the cloud that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy. Not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just maybe he was just a guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis.
Owens said the letter implied someone close to Charlie was deceiving him. She shared screenshots of his messages about Jewish donors pulling support only days before he died, presenting it as proof that his final hours were filled with betrayal and confusion.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to be pro-Israel. Pause. And somebody writes, donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit. Maybe So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually,